even like you.
What right is he taking away from women?
He don't like your race. He will spit on you. He don't even like
What right is he taking away from women?
He don't like y'all. He don't like none of us. He don't even like his own race.
What right is he taking away from women? Y'all still not answering my question. I've been asking for like 5 minutes. What was the answer?
We answered it.
Y'all brought up education once I asked that question. Because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Y'all just go on Twitter, look at what they say, and just run with it.
Myron, you go on Twitter. I watched the debate. I heard everything.
Y'all thought he was taking away abortions. He can't even do that here.
Myron, what debate did you watch?
Yo, he's so stupid. Yes, please look at the Chromebook. So I want to see what right he's taking. Let me search it up. What right? Let's see what right he's taking away from women.
Look at what he's saying.
Let's see what right he's taking away from women.
I'm announcing today in a major statement that under the Trump administration, your government will pay for, or your insurance company will be mandated to pay for, all costs associated with IVF treatment, fertilization for women, IVF treatment. Because we want more babies, to put it very nicely. And for this same reason, we will also allow new parents to deduct major newborn expenses from their taxes, so that parents that have a beautiful baby will be able. So we're pro-family. Nobody's ever said that before. But the IVF treatments are expensive. It's very hard for many people to do it and to get it. But I've been in favor of IVF right from the beginning.
Let's watch it.
Okay, let's see what he's giving you when he is president.
No, what right is he taking away from women?
Let's see what he's doing for you.
Because they said that last time.
The right to an abortion was overturned by the Supreme Court that Donald Trump
Get that camera off.
It's not when you
handpicked 3 Supreme Court justices that overturned
nigga. It's not on you. You'll be moving back.
that been law for 50 years.
Said it publicly, he's against that. And y'all also said Project 25. He also said publicly he's not going to do no Project 25.
He's a liar. Do you believe him?
Yeah. But you could do it either that or separate.
Say more lies. He's lying about the Project 2025.
Oh, lying against Project 25, which she knows, and so do all Democrats, that I have absolutely nothing to do with.
She says we all know that Trump terminal.
Y'all only want Kamala Harris.
Your body, my choice. That's what Nick.
Why do you need an abortion? Why do you care about abortion? You're in high school.
It doesn't matter.
You're in high school.
Women get pregnant. Women our ages get pregnant.
Is you getting
get
pregnant?
raped.
Is you getting pregnant? Did you get pregnant once?
I shouldn't have to fear that though.
Are you even a? You're probably a virgin. Worried about the wrong things, yo. Abortion is never one of y'all lists. We got wars. People trying to have war with us, and y'all worried about abortion.
That get raped at 8 years old.
That's enough. Let's
Okay, but Mr. Lopez, they talking about abortion. They not talking about how Trump ended the China war within less than 24 hours of him being in office. The China war has already ended, and y'all want to keep bringing up abortion.
Myron, that doesn't fucking matter.
Is that slow? Is they slow? Y'all worried about abortion. Y'all not even having sex. Like, look at y'all.
It don't matter if we was.
Trump stated this: "Everyone knows I would not support a federal AB ban under any circumstances and would, in fact, veto it because it is up to the states to decide based on the will of their voters, the will of the people. Like Ronald Reagan before me, I fully support the 3 exemptions for R, IN, and the life of the mother. I do not support the Democrats' radical position of late-term AB, like as an example in the 7th, 8th, or 9th month, or in case there is any question, the possibility of execution of said life after birth. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
You have to take turns,
Yeah.
and you have to be respectful of each other. And when it becomes too emotional and too controversial,
Put the camera.
It's on you.
No free cloud.
So what right is he taking away from women? Y'all still ain't answering.
Shut up, the girl that started everything. It's over.
Let's focus on the antebellum era during the Civil War, the origins of the Civil War.
Yeah, let's focus on that. People don't want to talk about how Trump is a good president.
Well,
He's dumb.
is it funny?
It's not funny. I'm dead serious.
I hope not.
All of a sudden, we were given this free thing from the Society of America, abortion. 78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. As to put it in the words of one pro-abortionist, we don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. These feelings about black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion. We've been asking for the right to decent housing, the right to education, in fact, the right to health care. And all we've been given free of charge is the right to kill our unborn child. We are still struggling for equally.
So there was a video I did recently, and within that video, you had somebody such as Pierre, who was a comedian, who stated that black men are, fearful and they don't, want to black men leadership and all these other things and yada, right? The same thing that everybody else has been stating. My point was that if black men did not want a black woman or a black female figure to lead them, then we would have started directly at the black family, the black household. And I pointed out the areas of which black women have been leads in some way, fashion, or form, whether it be a mother, whether it be an older sister, an aunt, or a grandmother. If black men were so fearful of just that energy, of just having a black woman tell them what to do, they would have just fully abandoned the household and just ran directly to the streets and called it a day and just figured it out on how to survive directly out there without the need, the help, the benefits of having a black woman directly in their corner. But again, that just was not the case. So her comment was this: there's a big difference between having a black woman running the country. You sound ridiculous. You can't compare the two. Pierre was speaking the truth. Yes, we have black mothers and black grandmothers and women in politics, but most black and brown men don't want to see a black woman in charge. I want to just go back and look at, this is the key groups and the findings from the exit polls and so on how people voted when it dealt with the Democratic Party and so on and so on. My main thing is this: if we have the fact that Kamala is not the first woman that tried to run, you had Hillary that ran and she also lost, because you would automatically think that women all across the board would have came out and voted directly for her and yada. But again, that wasn't the case. So then we move from that and we go here, and we can clearly see the exact same thing, in a sense, happen again, where all women did not 100% show up for Kamala. Again, she was going to be the first female president. Every single woman of every ethnicity did not show up in the exact same voting numbers that black women showed up to be. Because again, if women would have just showed up specifically for Kamala, she would have had it. She would have just had the vote. It would have been curtains at the end of the day. But again, the other women voted how it is that they wanted to vote. And to say that you can't compare running the country to running a family is a little bit nonsensical, because remember, you want somebody that's going to have certain values. You want somebody that has a proven track record. This is why every time they have a president, they have somebody who has a family, right? They have somebody who is married, because that shows stability. If you're stable in a relationship, if you're stable in the household, if you're stable with your family, then more than likely your life choices are going to be stable as well, which then means leading to people to think that more than likely you also have the tools needed in order to run the country, aka a family, the same way that you run your home, the same way that you control that situation. So to try to say that it's ridiculous to compare it to is not ridiculous. This is why pretty much every single candidate that has run that we've been able to see has been married, that has kids, all of these other types of things. And that's just the first layer directly of it. We're not even speaking on anything else. We're just talking about things dealing with the home and being able to take care of the home, because you got to remember, at the end of the day, the United States is home. That is the house. That's where we all are at this moment in time. And do we really want somebody that you would perceive as not being able to take care of that home? That's the only, thing that I was realistically trying to state, where Black women have taken care directly of that home. But also at the same time, Black men did not say that they didn't want that. They didn't run directly from it. They didn't try to discredit Black women in that. They didn't do any of those things. So again, I'm just saying that Black men don't have a fear of a leadership when it deals with Black women. That's pretty much all I was saying. This is the real person that Black people, or better yet, let me be more specific, Black women should actually be angry at. This man here. The people who dismantled affirmative action have a new strategy to crush racial justice. Last summer, in Students for Affairs Administration versus Harvard College, the Supreme Court's conservative supermajority struck down race-conscious admissions programs adopted by Harvard College and the University of North Carolina as violations of the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. In doing so, the court's conservative supermajority both ignored that the framers of the 14th Amendment were the originators of affirmative action and turned a blind eye to entrenched racial inequalities that make a mockery of constitutional promise of equal citizenship. Now, Edward Bloom, who was behind the attack on affirmative action in the SFFA case, and other conservative litigants tend to block racial justice efforts, have a new strategy: remake the nation's oldest federal civil rights law, the Civil Rights Act of 1866, into a weapon to challenge private efforts to ameliorate systematic racial discrimination and to redress the racial wealth gap. 20 years ago, Ariane Simone was a college student at Tallahassee, Florida, trying to scrape together money for a small mall-based boutique called Fabulous. Quote, "I started to notice that a lot of investors didn't look like me." Simone, a Black woman, tells Rolling Stone, quote, "I made a promise to myself to not only be concerned about the investor landscape, because one day I was going to be the business investor that I had been looking for." 2 decades later, the disparities Simone recognized back then persist. According to McKinsey & Company, in 2022, Black and Latino founders received just 1% of venture capital funds dispersed in the United States. 0.1% of all funding last year went to female founders who were Black or Latina. At the same time, women of color are starting businesses at a rate that far outpaces every other demographic. Simone and a friend from college, Ayanna Parson, founded the Fearless Fund to address that gap. 4 years into the project, the fund, backed by Bank of America, Ally Bank, MasterCard, and others, have invested $26.5 million in more than 40 businesses owned by women of color. Fresh Bellis and the cult restaurant chain Slutty Vegan among them, and awarded over $3 million in small grants to 346 businesses. 2 weeks ago, the Fearless Fund became the largest target of the conservative legal activist Edward Bloom, the architect of some of the most high-profile Supreme Court fights over racial equality legislation. Prior to Students for Fair Administrations, the case ended affirmative action in college admissions in June. Bloom was the force behind Shelby County versus Holder, the landmark decision gutting the Voting Rights Act. Shortly after successfully engineering the seismic Supreme Court ruling this summer, Bloom, with a new organization called the American Alliance for Equal Rights, set his sights on the Atlanta-based venture capital fund, AAFER, filed a lawsuit on August 2nd, accusing the Fearless Fund of racial bias in private contracts because it offers 4 $20,000 grants a year to startup run by black women. The United States Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action in college admissions in June of 2023. In the case of Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard, the court's decision invalidated the policy that allowed higher education institutions to consider race in administrations to promote diversity and equity. The court's ruling was based on the following arguments. 1. Affirmative action programs lack clear and measurable goals. Number 2. Affirmative action programs use race in a negative way. Number 3. Affirmative action programs involve racial stereotyping. Number 4. Affirmative action programs lack meaningful endpoints. The ruling has had far-reaching implications for diversity in the workforce and on college campuses. Some colleges are reevaluating their athletic recruiting and legacy admission policies. A nonprofit group that opposes race-based education policies has filed civil rights complaints against universities challenging the legality of programs that promote racial diversity. Conservative activists are also calling for the decision to extend to all educational programs. Why are people against affirmative action? They say that it is unfair to use race as a consideration in admitting students to a college or universities. Others argue that many of the students admitted on the basis of affirmative action are not equipped to perform. Next, what does affirmative action hurt? Other focus group participants stated that affirmative action hurts Asian Americans in college admissions. Some participants who viewed affirmative action negatively think it helps Asians less relative to other minority groups at all. Why is it harder for Asians to get into college? Southeast Asian applicants' odds were 72% lower than their white peers. Much of the disparity stems from legacy admission policies that favor the children of alumni who are more likely to be white. Which race goes to college the most? In 2022, the college enrollment rate for 18 to 24 years of age was higher for those who were Asian at 61% than for those of all other racial/ethnic groups. White, 41%, 2 or more races, 36%, Black, 36%. Who benefits from affirmative action? According to the United States Labor Department, the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action are white women. So at the end of the day, we can clearly see the two groups of people who, well, technically three, but the main two groups of people who heavily voted for Trump are the exact same ones who wanted to get rid of certain things, such as affirmative action. And inadvertently, you had black women that were also affected by said affirmative action. But not only that, they had a certain man of a certain ethnicity that decided that he wanted to go specifically after a black woman or black women in general because they were doing something to help out one another instead of relying on him in order to gain certain benefits. Like I said before, at the end of the day, black women and many others are mad at the wrong person, aka black men. There are other individuals out there who did a lot of things in order to make sure that black women would not be able to help each other, would not have a helping hand, that would not be able to get the money that they need in order to start certain businesses and in order to invest into one another, because they say that it is racist to do so because you are basing it off of one's skin color. Even though we have stats and numbers show that black women and Latin women receive the least when it deals with funding, when it deals with investments for businesses. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.